Hello and welcome. Reports of renewed shelling by Russia in Ukraine. Explosions are reportedly heard across Kyiv. Russia has said that it will intensify attacks on the Ukrainian capital. This after the sinking of Moscow's warship Moskva. Ukraine has claimed to have hit the warship with its Neptune missiles. Russia has now claimed it has hit a military plant outside Kyiv and killed up to 30 Polish mercenaries in Ukraine. A statement from Moscow said it would intensify attacks on Kyiv as Ukraine strikes Russia.
This dog has been lying over here for a while now. It doesn't move at all. I don't know if it's missing its owner or just lying over there. I don't know if it's okay, but it's obviously somebody's dog. What we thought we'd do is, and we found a bunker over here. It's an underground sort of place where somebody was staying when Irpin was being completely bombed. So just sort of entering this place, and as you can see, this is how people survived. There's water which was stored. There was a gas connection of some sort, a stove as well, and obviously no electricity. But somebody who cooked food over here was here. Perhaps somebody's maybe still here, just still a couple of days back. And we'll just move through this area where somebody had taken shelter to show you how people lived through this mess. There are a handful of beds over here. That's a full-fledged bunker, in fact. A lot of people would have spent their nights over here while the building above was being bombed. So, and this is actually interconnected to several other rooms. And we won't go any further, but it's interconnected. It's underneath this building. And this just gives you an idea of how people actually lived.
My colleague Vishnu Som also spoke to the spokesperson of Ukraine Defense Ministry. Listen in.
What is the situation in the Donbass region? Is an attack by Russia imminent?
Коротке питання, яка зараз ситуація в Донбаському регіоні і чи наступ з боку Росії вже насувається безпосередньо?
Ситуацію, яка наразі склалася на сході України, зокрема в Донецькій і Луганській областей, ми можемо назвати складною, але цілком прогнозованою і контрольованою з боку української армії. Нам відомо, що Російська Федерація стягує туди потужні резерви живої сили, військової техніки. Нам відомо, що формування наступального ядра російської армії фактично переходить в завершальну фазу. Коли такий наступ широкомасштабний почнеться, в які саме дні, я сказати не можу точно, але ворог цілком може зненацька почати штурмові дії, не дочекаючись підходу там певних резервів або завершення формування наступальної армії.
Back home, BJP stalwart and Karnataka Minister K.S. Eshwarappa caught in a huge controversy following allegations of corruption and a role in the suicide of a contractor has resigned from his cabinet post after a meeting with Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai at his residence in Bengaluru. Mr. Eshwarappa submitted his resignation this evening. State ministers were also there at the Chief Minister's residence while Eshwarappa tendered his resignation. While leaving for Bengaluru from his constituency Shivamogga earlier this evening, he had asked his supporters not to worry as he will be back. In a massive show of strength, a huge convoy of cars accompanied him as he drove to the capital to resign. In Shivamogga, the supporters protested against his forced resignation. I'm joined at this hour by my colleague Nihal Kidwai. Nihal, he told his supporters that he's going to come back, and the supporters were protesting there in Shivamoga. What happens now after his resignation?
In no time, the Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai accepted the resignation and he has forwarded it to the Karnataka governor. Now the Congress party is asking the question that if Eshwarappa is not guilty, then why the Chief Minister was in a hurry to accept the resignation? This is the question now the Congress party is asking the ruling BJP. The Congress is also demanding for the arrest of Eshwarappa and also demanding that a case of corruption should be booked against Eshwarappa, as there is no case at the moment booked against Eshwarappa because Santosh Patil, the contractor who had died by suicide by consuming poison, had alleged that Eshwarappa and his associates had demanded 40% commission for the payment of 4 crore rupees, the work that was assigned to him allegedly by Eshwarappa. It was assigned to him verbally, and what he is claiming that he has documents for that. So now Congress is demanding that only with the resignation of Eshwarappa they are not happy. They want Eshwarappa to be arrested. They want Eshwarappa, against Eshwarappa, a case of corruption should be booked. Congress has also made it clear that from tomorrow onwards they are going to stage protests across the state at all district headquarters.
Right.
So now we have to see tomorrow what happens, because the state executive committee meeting is also scheduled from tomorrow. 2 days meeting is there at Hospet, which is about 350 kilometers away from Bengaluru. And the top leader of the BJP will be arriving there, including what we have been told, the JP Nadda, the party president, will also be there. So now it seems that tomorrow it is going to turn into a battleground.
Well, we'll keep following that story with you, Nihal. Thank you very much for joining us at this hour. Now, with two major wheat exporters, Ukraine and Russia, locked in a bloody war, crop purchases by private players have shot up in Punjab and other wheat-producing states in India. The total wheat purchases have broken a 5-year record.
With Ukraine and Russia, two major wheat exporters, locked in a war, Punjab and other wheat-growing states are witnessing a jump not just in the purchase by private buyers, but also in prices higher than the government-guaranteed price or MSP.
सिर्फ 5 रुपए सानू ਵਧਾ के प्राइवेट ਚੱਕ रही हैं सानू ਵੱਧ ਹੋਰ पैसे मिलने चाहिए कम से कम 200 रुपया बोनस।
थोड़ी गर्मी थोड़ी जल्दी पड़ गई है, तो हमारा जो वीट प्रोड्यूसिंग एरियाज हैं उधर जो क्रॉप है वो छोटा रह गया है, विच इज वाई देयर इज गोइंग टू बी अ शॉर्टेज, थोड़ा कम मिलेगा माल मार्केट से, क्योंकि रशिया एंड यूक्रेन एक्सपोर्ट नहीं कर रहा अभी वीट, उनके साथ टाइज थोड़े खराब हो गए हैं पूरे वर्ल्ड के, इसलिए इंडिया ने अग्री करा है कि इंडिया कई कंट्रीज को वीट सप्लाई करेगा अपना, तो इंडिया में हो सकता है उसकी वजह से शॉर्टेज आ जाए।
बट इट इज नॉट प्राइवेट बायर्स हु आर फ्लॉकिंग टू पंजाब. Egypt, which earlier imported much of its required wheat stock from Ukraine and Russia, first sent its officials, following which today it designated India as a wheat supplier.
The Commerce Minister tweeted on Friday the good news came that Egypt has allowed India as a wheat supplier and said India is ready to serve the world as farmers have ensured our granaries have overflowed.
जहाँ तक गेहूं का मामला है, निश्चित रूप से गेहूं की उपलब्धता हमारे पास है। वर्तमान परिस्थितियों में दुनिया को भी गेहूं की आवश्यकता है। मैं समझता हूँ दुनिया की आवश्यकता को पूर्ति करने के लिए भारत पूरी तरह तैयार भी है और तत्पर भी है।
As demand grows for Indian wheat in the international market, the price rise of the wheat in grain markets of Punjab is a good news for farmers. But at the same time, the government will also have to monitor the prices of wheat in the domestic market, considering the lower yield this year. With Himanshu Mishra in Delhi, in Chandigarh, Mohammad Ghazali for NDTV.
The three men accused of attempted murder and in jail since March have been named in a police case in a communal clash incident in Madhya Pradesh in Barwani district earlier this month, raising questions about police investigations in the rioting case. The houses of one of the men was also demolished, citing illegal construction.
Justice Madhya Pradesh style. Shahbaz, Rauf and Fakhru are locked up in jail since March in an attempt to murder case. But the Madhya Pradesh police have charged them with rioting in Barwani, the second district other than Khargon that saw clashes during Ram Navami. The police and administration have even demolished the home of Shahbaz, one of the jailed men, citing illegal construction. But how can men in jail since March be accused of rioting last week? Violence broke out in Khargon and Barwani after stones were thrown at Ram Navami processions. At least 24 people, including 6 policemen, were injured.
मेरा बच्चे का तो कहीं से कहीं तक कुछ था ही नहीं, वो तो अंदर था। ये पुलिस ने पूछना चाहिए उस पे क्यों एफआईआर करी। कितने समय से अंदर है? वो करीब एक महीना सवा महीना हो गया। क्या पुलिस ने भेजा झगड़ा करने के लिए? किस वजह से उसका नाम आया? हमारी कोई सुनने को तैयार ही नहीं। हमने बहुत रिक्वेस्ट की कि हमारा बच्चा जेल में है, लेकिन कोई हमारी कहीं सुनने को तैयार ही नहीं हो रहा था। हम लोग इतने परेशान हो गए थे, हम लोगों ने हाथ जोड़े, माफी मांगी कि भाई हम लोग नहीं लड़ाई झगड़े में, हमारे बच्चे घर में काम कर रहा था, वो बच्चे को घर में से लेके गए, उसका तो कोई नाम ही नहीं था छोटे बच्चे का, उसको भी घर में से उठा के ले गए।
The accused were charged with arson and rioting and the case was registered in the same police station where the case of attempt to murder was registered. On being asked about the lapse, police officials said that the FIRs was registered on the basis of the statement made by the complainant.
हम पता लगाएंगे विवेचना में, जो आप बता रहे जेल में है तो उसमें जेल अधीक्षक से जानकारी लेंगे कहाँ पर जेल में उनकी रिहाई हुई भी, उसके आधार पर आगे विवेचना जारी रहेगी। वो विवेचना को विषय उसके बाद आगे कार्रवाई की जाएगी। मामला फरियादी के द्वारा बताए अनुसार किया गया है।
Despair 85 kilometers away too, in Khargon, the epicenter of Madhya Pradesh's Ram Navami violence, where this 16-year-old boy, Shivam Shukla, is battling severe brain injuries after being attacked by rioters on the day of the violence. The Madhya Pradesh government has shifted him to a bigger hospital in Indore and is paying for treatment.
मेरा छोरा भी खरगोन में पढ़ रहा था 3 साल से, और यहाँ आने वाले थे, तो वो जुलूस में रुक गए कि जुलूस देख के आएंगे। न घर में बैठा हुआ था, घर में से पत्थरबाजी हुई, न सिर में चोट आई, पूरे दुखी है। मैं भगवान से प्रार्थना करती हूँ मेरा छोरा जल्दी आ जाए।
After NDTV reported on the plight of those whose homes were torched by rioters in Khargon, the Madhya Pradesh government has assured they will be rebuilt.
खरगोन में गरीबों के घर जल गए भाई, अनुसूचित जाति के लोग भी, छोटे छोटे मकान, घर जला दिए। अब बताइए ऐसे लोग जिन्हें घर जलाया उन पर कार्रवाई होना चाहिए कि नहीं होना चाहिए? किसी भी जात पात उपासना धर्म किसी को घबराने की जरूरत नहीं है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार सबको सम्मान देगी, सबको सुरक्षा देगी, भाईचारा कायम रखिए। हाँ, गड़बड़ करने वालों के खिलाफ कार्रवाई होगी भाई।
The state police claim outfits like the Popular Front of India or PFI could have been behind the violence on April 10th in Madhya Pradesh. But the police's own actions are under the scanner in the state. With bureau inputs, Anurag Dwari for NDTV.
Now here's the story of a woman who saved the lives of 15 men from rioters in Rajasthan's Karauli town on the 2nd of April after arson and communal violence in Karauli. One woman, Madhulika Singh, single-handedly faced a mob, refused to let them enter her home and gave shelter to 15 men, even as the mob went on a rampage in the town, burning and looting shops.
भागदौड़ हुई थी, उसके लिए सारे दुकान वाले घबरा गए थे और घबरा के उन्होंने अपनी शटर डाउन की। तो मैंने उन लोगों को ऊपर कमरे में बुला दिया, मैंने कहा आप लोग यहाँ बैठ जाओ, और जो मेन गेट है वहाँ बाहर का वो मैंने लॉक कर दिया था। इंसानियत के नाते से मैंने उन लोगों को बचाया था।
बाहर भगदौड़ मच रही थी, मतलब पत्थरबाजी हो रही थी, डंडे वंडे लेके घूम रहे थे या छोटे छपाड़े, मतलब ये फिर वहाँ पे कुछ हम दीदी थी मॉल मालिक, उन्हें हमारे बुलाया, कोई टेंशन आपके लिए परेशानी नहीं आएगी, बिल्कुल मैं हूँ आपके लिए।
हमने उन बच्चों को जो मोमडन बच्चे थे उनको नहीं निकलने दिया क्योंकि बाहर से डंडों के साथ लड़के भाग रहे थे। फिर हम देखते हैं कि एकदम से हमें ऐसा लगा कि इधर की तरफ से आग आ रही है। हम ऊपर देखने गए थे तो वहाँ जाके फिर हमने पानी डालने की कोशिश कैसे करें, बोरिंग वगैरह का तो वो पाइप तो था नहीं। हमने बाल्टी टंकियों में से भर भर के बाल्टियों से ऊपर से पानी डाला।
Now, India's daily COVID cases are low, but the cases in metro cities are rising. In the last 24 hours, there have been 949 cases, down by 5.75%. Deaths are 6, up by 500%. Positivity rate is 0.26, up by 13.04%. The number of tests that have been done are over 3 lakhs. Now, Delhi has reported 356 new cases in the last 24 hours, highest rise since February 27th. Positivity rate in national capital is at 3.9%. It's the highest positivity rate since the 3rd of February this year. Now, the World Health Organization said on Friday that it was monitoring cases of hepatitis of unknown origin in dozens of children in Britain, some of whom required a liver transplant. Britain initially reported 10 cases of severe acute hepatitis in Scotland to WHO on 5th of April before reporting a total of 74 cases across the country 3 days later, the UN agency said. WHO expects more cases to be reported in the coming days. Some of the cases were so severe that patients had to be transferred to specialist children's liver units, while 6 children had liver transplants. WHO said in a statement, no deaths have been recorded so far. The infection mainly affected children aged under 10 and symptoms include jaundice, diarrhea, vomiting and abdominal pain. Now, billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk's bid to buy Twitter has set him against a major shareholder of the tech firm, a Saudi prince. Take a look at this report for more details on this fascinating story.
Elon Musk staying on the offensive to take over Twitter 100%. The world's richest man took on a Saudi prince and a major Twitter shareholder who rejected Musk's offer, saying he doesn't believe that the proposed offer of $54.2 per share by Musk comes close to the intrinsic value of Twitter given its growth prospects. Musk hit back, saying, "What are the kingdom's views on journalistic freedom of speech?" referring to Saudi Arabia's tight control on press and other freedoms. The world's richest man claims he wants to buy Twitter as free speech is important for democracies and Twitter is the de facto town square. However, Musk is no longer the single largest shareholder in Twitter, with Vanguard Holdings, a Pennsylvania-based investment company, increasing its stake to 10.3%. After Musk, who already owns 9.2% of Twitter, offered to buy all the remaining shares at $54.20 each, the stock closed at $45.08, down 1.68%. Musk said he believes in Twitter's potential to be the platform for free speech around the globe. The Tesla chief today emphasized on the need for an inclusive arena for free speech in a TED interview. He advocated an open source algorithm and stressed on the need to remove any behind-the-scene manipulation. Twitter CEO Parag Agrawal, on the other hand, on Thursday reassured employees that the company was not being held hostage by Elon Musk's offer to buy Twitter. The Twitter chief questioned, "Are we just going to start inviting any and all billionaires to the board?" Though Musk has still the option of a hostile takeover. Priyanshi Sharma for NDTV.